And I think I've been counting my hardest days. Lord, won't you save me? Ooh, you know what I've been praying for. And I never thought I'd see this day. Yeah, I gotta make it change. And I think I've been counting my hardest days.
Writing plans to make a new report. Grind hard to turn my basement to a jewelry store. If you don't do it for your kids, then who you do it for? I'm trying to read and learn some shit I never knew before. Focus on investments, build me up some new resorts. We can manifest it. You rather hit the Louis store, wasting all your blessings. Caring about the ones who doubt you, just to impress some hoes who never gave a fuck about you. Just what I discovered. Never believed the family, that word is really your cover. Just a title that have the advantage to keep you under. I got niggas I consider brothers more than my brothers. Watching you show your colors. We living in a world where prison walls is deprivation. Living in a world with snitching calls for celebration. Living in a world where niggas crawl in segregation. Rainy nights in desperation, pray we fight the legislation. Protest until we flatline paralyzed. They throwing stones at my Black Lives Matter signs. Made a change, but we still not satisfied. I can't smile half the time. I'm still waiting, sitting, plotting on the couch. Cause I know that I ain't safe when all these cops is on the prowl. Trying to think of other ways, but we ain't got no other route. I'm starting to understand that shit that Pac was talking about. Word.
And I think I've been counting my hardest days. Lord, won't you save me? Ooh, you know what I've been praying for. And I never thought I'd see this day. Yeah, I gotta make it change. And I think I've been counting my hardest days. Lord, won't you save me? Ooh, you know what I've been praying for. And I never thought I'd see this day.
Table Manners. 10 reps, my man. DJ Kenny Man. I like that. Right there, man.
Yeah. Once again, it's on, man. It's your boy ConeHead coming live. Another episode of Hood Tales with me, ConeHead. I am your host for this evening. Before I get started, I just wanted to give a shout out to all my folks who, support, listen, whether it's on my speaker, whether it's on YouTube, Hood Tales with ConeHead, subscribe and like, your favorite episodes, give your comments and feedbacks, and, let me know where I need to go at, or if it's a subject you want to discuss or want me to talk about on the air, let me know, and, we can go from there. It's one of them things that, trying to implement into the little system or whatever. But tonight's episode is based on, something that we all, most of us all was raised upon, which is prayer. It's kind of funny that I'm sitting here at 42, got a month away from my 43rd birthday, and I can vaguely remember the day I got arrested in the conspiracy case that I'm fighting now. And, I always had my prayer game on point. I always was a believer. I always had faith, never understood as a kid why. But as a man, I get it, It's just different now, like going from a child to a man and not even understanding what your family and your parents is really trying to push in you until you get in situations as an adult or a teenager and just have to really, really stand on faith and believe in God and trust that, the Lord gonna make sure everything is all right. Sometimes we feel like prayer be falling on deaf ears when we pray and then expect God to just, whirlwind miracle or, magically make something appear for you that you ask for. And sometimes we don't even understand, we don't even give him time. We don't even give him conversation. We don't even give him, even walking into a sanctuary and spending time with like-minded members and people who are like-minded as yourself, because religion done got so out of hand that people don't even believe anymore. Like, people don't trust churches. They don't trust evangelists or deacons or pastors, bishops, apostles, priests, none of that, because the one element that everybody forgets and realizes that these people are human. They're not, above what we deal with and what we go through. In fact, it's actually harder on them than it is for us to commit sin, because it's easy, it's tempting. You sit there and you see some of the, the churches and stuff, and they big old buildings and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Because I believe God wants as many members as He can. It's not so much like the temple. Like, people get it. Me and my homeboy Love Miami was having a discussion about this, and it was like, he was like, well, when it says that your body is a temple for God, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. But it also says that you fellowship with like-mindedness, and you fellowship with people of the same faith and that believe the same thing you believe. There's nothing wrong with sitting down with a Muslim and a Christian and having a conversation. Y'all all believe in the same thing of God, no matter if his name is Muhammad or his name is the Alpha and Omega or I am. So, you're praying to the same individual. You just found him in a different way. And I think that's why a lot of people fall back from churches and stuff like that, because, everybody interprets it the way they interpret it, but you can interpret it in many other ways yourself if you took the time to study to show yourself approved, like it says in the Bible too. But everybody doesn't study. People just, ridicule, or just have something to say, or just want to turn somebody else off of what, because of their experiences and stuff. I'm a preacher kid. I grew up in that life. Didn't understand it. I always gravitated to the streets and gravitated to the things of the world for some reason or another. But at the end of the day, here I am, blessed to be alive. Done been through a whole lot of shit, and I'm still here to give y'all my hood tales. I remember bucking a jack, not wanting to go to church, not wanting to do this, falling asleep. My mama got to call the people the ushers to come, wake me up, and sit me up, take me. I want to send a shout out to my other mother, Sister Pearl, who used to be on me in church, to the point where she used to act like she was my mama. She'd be like, with the white gloves, come and get my gum out my mouth. Or I'm over there knocked out, drooling, snoring on the back bench, and she come wake me up, make me sit up, because my mama done sent the hit. Wake that boy up and tell him to get up, wake him up so he can hit his missus. I remember them days. It's just funny that I sit here thinking about it, like, all the stuff I had to go through. Vacation Bible school, prayer meeting, usher board, Monday deaconess meeting, Friday church, Saturday church, Sunday school, noonday service, and evening. Did that forever. And I got worn out from it and got tired of it, like got sick and tired of having to go. I just like, man, but now I get it, because I'm grown. And I see why it's needed, because it done got worse since I've been a kid in this world we live in today. And that's the scariest thing about it. Like, now I'm a parent, and I got to raise my children in this destructive, chaotic, just wicked time of the world. Like, kids ain't even safe no more. They ain't off limits to a lot of shit that's going on in this world. And it's sad, But when it's all said and done, you gotta give God the glory, because he do what he has to do. Pandemic that came around, got people spooked, and then you have conversations where they be like, well, if you believe in God, why you wearing a mask? It's not about not believing in God. It's about God put people here on this earth to get us to understand that certain things has to be done to help with the situation. I ain't knocking the people who done got vaccinated, man. More power to you. But I'm not gonna let these people put something in me that they already killing us. Like, give me the cure. I'll take the cure. I'm not taking a vaccine. It took people 5-6 years to figure out the polio vaccine. Like, think about that. 18 months, these people done found a vaccine for something that's killed over 1 million people in 18 months. But polio and stuff like that took forever for them to come up with cures with. Chicken pox and shit like that. Measles. And that's back in my dad and my mama them days. So it took them 30, 40 years to come up with cures. I'm talking about cures, not vaccines. Cures. Even with the AIDS and HIV shit. When that shit came out, it was killing people left and right. How long did it take for them to come up with HIV? And the AIDS, like, I ain't gonna say cure, for the people to maintain and survive and be a little bit more, healthier and living with the disease before it either took them out or, they was able to adjust and get healthy and live. Like, all that stuff plays a part. But the most important part is you gotta be full of prayer. And, like, I remember the day I got arrested. Got into it with my mother, my biological mother. She don't know I'm laying low. I'm taking it, I'm trying to stay out the way because I want to figure out what's going on with the case. And we got into an argument, which is typical with me and her because she always put a man before her kids. It's just who she was. And the crazy thing is, I just needed her to be my mom for that moment in time. Just let me chill here, keep a low profile. I helped you get into this apartment. I gave you the money the first and last month so you can move in and have your own and not have to let people, ridicule you, keep you in confusion and have you off balance and out in the street. So we get into an argument. She called the police. Actually had a substation where she lives, so I ended up staying there waiting on the Uber man. Uber Asia, actually, that's my dog. Shout out to Uber Asia, wherever you at in the world. But I get arrested. They keep me on the scene for like 2 hours. They waiting on the narcotics detectives to come. And these 4 officers get out this car and they walk up and they introduce themselves. And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck these people are, where they come from, and what the fuck they got going on. But I don't know you, I don't know what y'all talking about, I have no clue. So they do the good cop, bad cop shit. Oh, well, I'm officer so-and-so, and this is my assistant, and this and that. So I'm like, so what's going on, sir? They looking at this folder with my picture on it, and they trying to see if it's me, because they couldn't really tell, because I had lost a lot of weight. I done lost weight out of, stressing about that bullshit. I done fucking went on the run, and I'm like, man, something got to give. something has to give. But I didn't stop. I ain't stopped at all. I kept it pushing, you know. So it got me sitting in the back and chilling and, you know, sitting there wondering like what they talking about. So when one said this, he said that. I'm like, nah, they can't have the right person. So they was saying 50 years to life, $1 million bond. You looking at you in real big trouble, mister. Like, help us help you. Right then and there, I was like, oh, no, these people don't got nothing on me. They fishing. So, okay, so I sit there in the back. I was like, well, sir, I don't know nothing about no drugs. I don't know about no trafficking, no drugs. I don't know anything of that nature. I'm a merchant marine. I can make dope money on the boat. What y'all got going on? How y'all trying to tie me into some shit that ain't got nothing to do with me? So then here come the bad cop. Oh, you don't know, you talking about bricks and this and blase squads, and yada yada, man. I don't know what the fuck you talking about, sir. I was not on no phone talking with nobody about no fucking bricks or no money or nothing like that. And then it was like he started asking me about an individual. I'm like, well, I don't know that person because I don't know them by that name. Who the fuck is that? So eventually it got to the point where I was basically like, so y'all telling me I'm facing 50 years to life. I got $1 million bounty on my head. And I'm supposed to believe that y'all can help me out this bullshit. I said, man, there ain't enough telling in the world gonna get me out this shit, man. Y'all can't help me do nothing. I was like, you know what, man, the best thing I can do is, man, I can take my chances with God. So I think I'm gonna just take my chances with God. Yeah, y'all, there's nothing y'all can do for me. I'm basically what y'all saying, I'm dead, man, walking. I got all that on my back. You know, so I'm like, oh, boy, I'm gonna take my chances with the Lord, man. I'm good. And he gonna crack a slam the door and say, fuck it, he's not talking. And they walked off and they left. You know what I'm saying? And then it was crazy because it was a black female in training in the passenger seat while the officer who was training her was doing the paperwork. So, you know, I asked her, I said, what made you want to be a cop? She was just like, ooh. She said, I don't think I'm cut out for this shit. She was like, because she done had to see how they treat us as men, the black men. She had to, because I hear my phone ring, Uber agent, I pulled up, he trying to leave looking for me, but he was late. Because if he would have been there, I'd have been gone, and they would have just had to, you know, find me. But they wasn't looking for me that bad. The warrant had been signed and shit in October. They caught up with me in December, and that was by a fluke accident with my mother calling the police on me for arguing and going with her about her situation with her dude, a married man at that. So it is what it is. Shout out to my mom. Love you regardless. You can't help who your parents are. All you can do is pray for them and love them the same. And that's words of Jerome Enrico, who told me that statement that got me back even talking to my mother. So, like I say, everything, you know what I'm saying, it's just one of those things, how that can be going sometimes. You know, at the end of the day, you know, it was just what it was. So, long story short, these people go ahead on, they take me in, I get fingerprinted, booked, and all that shit, and I'm just sitting in there like, mind racing, like, what the fuck is going on? So, I changed out, you know, I made some phone calls. At the time I was in a relationship, we had only been together like 6 months, and it was fairly new, and, you know, she came and got me, and I told her, You know, if you don't feel like you can hang in there with me for the situation, because I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to be, you know, go left or go right. But, you know, however it goes, if you don't believe you can stand in the paint with me, then, you know, walk away now. You know, to give you the option. I don't want to keep that up because nobody don't owe me nothing. Nobody ain't got to hang in there, be in my corner or fuck with me or none of that. That's even family, you know what I'm saying? So, for the most part, shit, I was just like, well, you know, she said what she said. She gonna ride. Okay, we gonna see. And I guess it is what it is. So, you know, I dress out. They give me my bedroll. They tell me. They ask me. You know, they ask me any medical conditions. I'm diabetic. You know, I'm insulin independent. I take 3 shots a day. That's just the way it worked for me. You know. And I get my bedroll. They got me on 3s too. So I go up the elevator. Now, mind you, I got on sneakers and shit. I ain't had no slides. I don't know. I had sneakers and shit I had to put on. They gave me the little jailhouse slides and shit. So I go up there, you know. I ain't wearing my sneakers in this bitch. I put them bitches in my property. So, and I came in there with money on me. I think I had like 3,500, 3,800, some shit like that too. So, you know, I ain't been in jail, but maybe the longest I've been in jail was like 2 months. And I ain't eat no noodles and bricks and shit like that. So, I'm sitting, I go up the elevator, I get to the 3rd floor, they tell me go to the left, that's the men's side, women's on the right. So I go down this hallway, I sit on the bench, I got my information, all this other shit. And so they tell me to come to the line, they search a nigga, then they open the door, let me go in. So I'm walking through the little corridor to go to my dorm, and they open the door, and it's 3s too. And I never forget this friendly, smiling face when I walk through the door. Shout out to my brother, Preacher Zoe. You know, wherever you may be at in the world, man, I hope you're free. I hope you're back with your family, and I hope you live in life without that shit on your back. So I walk in, I meet him, and first thing he say to me is, man, brother, this is a blessed dorm. This is a God-fearing dorm. He said God been working miracles in this dorm. He been blessing people, man. People been thinking they getting a gang of time. They might get county, they might get probation, they might get their charges dropped, their cases be dismissed. He said, God has been working in this dorm, and I'm like, bet, that's where I need to be at anyway. Because I've already been up meditating and praying and talking to God and building my relationship before I even got in any trouble, before I went to jail or anything. So, you know, people think that because people get in trouble, that's when they find religion, or that's when they, you know, do the thing. But you're supposed to call on God in your times of trouble. You're supposed to call on Him when you need Him the most. He never said that, oh, before you get in some shit, nah, don't holler at me, nah, don't fuck with me, nah, cause, you know, you done got in some shit, nah. He don't say that. He said, come to me in your times of trouble, and He'll give you rest. Because He's supposed to be. He's supposed to be there. You're supposed to go to Him when you need Him the most. If He wants you to get that testimony down the road, you tell the people that you influencing the people that you care about and the people that you believe in. Let them know that, man, it wasn't like God got me out of this situation, man. I was done. You know, but people feel like because you discover Him then, and then you might not walk the same way you get out. And I've seen it happen, and that's when you really need it. Because people, you know, get on this mask and it's a race shit. That was high quality H2O back there. So I got the Ricky Bobby. Bobby Boucher. But yeah, so we talked. but got a little conversation going. I met a couple other guys that was in the little Bible study group, so that was like cool. I'm cool with that. I need all the prayer I can get anyway. These people talking crazy, so that night I got in the prayer call. We usually do it right before we go to bed or whatever, and we usually be locked down at 8 o'clock. So it's about 7:50, 7:45. People rushing to get their last phone calls in to the people, and the trustees moving around, passing items and shit to niggas in different dorms. So they get their little profit or whatever. So all this is new to me because I'm not used to sitting in jail like that. I bond out, I be gone. So God made it where I ain't have no money. I ain't have no means to get out of that place. Like none. Like my folks never ain't have it or nothing. So, because he wanted to show people, and he wanted the people around me in the vicinity that I'm in to see that, okay, these boys they got this big old case going, but at the end of the day, shit, I got my son. So, we do the prayer. And just for some reason, man, we did that prayer. And I tell you, after I got done praying with my brothers and sitting in that circle and feeling that energy or that positivity in that group of men that I stood and held hands with and said that recited that prayer. No prayer, no power. Little prayer, little power. Much prayer, much power. Jesus Christ, all power. Man, it did something to me. When I say I got done with that situation, I got on the phone, called my mother, and said, "Mama, don't bond me out. Don't go hire me no lawyer." I said, "God gonna walk me out this front door. Watch and see." It's like I felt like I was 10 feet tall after that prayer. When I say I had all the confidence in the world, like I know I'm finna beat this case, I know this thing finna be over. I ain't need stress and sweat and nothing. Man, got off that phone, my mom got in that room, got in that bunk, looked out that motherfucking window, and was just thankful. Like I know God finna work it out. So while I'm sitting in the time passed by 23 days, I get a call to go see the public. I got a lawyer visit. So I go as the public defender investigator. This man is sitting there saying, "Hey sir, can you tell me what's going on?" And I'm like, dang. I said, "Well, I don't know what's going on, sir. I couldn't tell you." I said, "You tell me." He said, "Well, we don't have any information. The state hasn't put any information in. And this is kind of unusual for a charge like this. Usually a week or two in, you've been and got charged." And he's like, "We don't have any information." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not able to tell you, man, sir, because I don't know what's going on either." So he leaves, no biggie. So time passed by. I get another call for an attorney visit, but this time I actually got a polycom, so it's on the video. So when I go sit in the room, the video thing on, this dude waiting on me, never seen him before. His name was Mark Benchmark, and he was my public defender. So he's like, "Hey man, can you tell me anything about this case? Because this is really unusual that these people don't have no information on you yet, and it's 36 days in." So in the state of Florida, we have a 45-day law rule. If you're not charged by the time if you get arrested and you're not charged within 45 days of being arrested, by law, they have to release you. They have to let you go. I'm at day 36. So my public defender was like, "Hey man, I don't know what's going on. They don't, state don't have no information. They're not able to tell me anything. I'm like, well, sir, I don't know what they're talking about. I ain't done nothing. These people saying that they talking about alleged out there. I said, I'm lost, just like you. So he was like, well, I filed a motion for your release. And I'm like, you filed a motion for my release? He said, yeah, you know, they're gonna rule on it, I guess, and the judge they're gonna have to rule on it because state still don't have no information. He said, but you'll be hearing from me, you know, soon. All right, I go back to the dorm. I'm like, man, but they tell me he filed a release thing, a motion for a release, and I ain't think nothing of it. So time done passed. It's Sunday. I got court on the 23rd. On that Tuesday. So I'm thinking, okay, I got caught on Tuesday, they're gonna pass me or some shit like they've been doing. So Sunday night, as the officer around doing his rounds for count, they do the court. And he was like, Rico, court in the morning. And I'm saying like, oh shit, I got court in the morning? Thought I got court on Tuesday. Man, I sat there on that bunk like, what the fuck? They don't need people in charge, man. Now, mind you, I done forgot the conversation that I had with the public defender that he put the motion in. The motion that got granted, but unbeknownst to me, I'm not even thinking about no motion being granted or nothing. I'm like, well, these people done found a way to wiggle that shit and charge the niggas. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I gotta face this shit. It is what it is. So I get up, I get shackled. You know, they put us on the van. We ride from the jail to the courthouse. I'm sitting in the back in the bullpen just waiting. You know, everybody different. You know, we had to separate, go to different court, you know, judges and shit. We come in, you know, they search us, and then they ask us, they say our name, they tell us our judge and what floor we on, and then they take us and put us in another room, and then they take us to our floor when they get enough officers down. So we going up to our floor, and I'm sitting there tripping because I'm like, man, these motherfuckers are charged me with this shit. So I go and my PD up. So they pull me out the holding cell and take me into the little interview room to talk to his ass before we go in the courtroom. So he was like, yeah, man, you're here for your hearing. I said, what hearing? He talking about something, a release hearing. He said the state still don't have any information on you. And I'm like, what? He like, yeah, so there's 45 days today. So I was like, oh, I thought he said, nah, they don't have any information. They still don't have any information to charge you. So I'm like, oh, okay. He said, but the prosecutor, what? I didn't tell you something, but I gotta go talk to him first. So I go, he go, and I'm sitting in that interview room waiting on him to come back. So when he come back, he say, hey man, he wanna know if you don't go through with the hearing, you'll get credit for your cooperation. So, you know, basically I'd be stuck in jail, and basically I'd be admitting to something I didn't do. I said, man, I'm not doing. I said, nah, I'm going through it. I said, I get to go home. He said, yeah, by law, if they don't have any information, man, they gotta let you go. I said, well, tell them, nah, I'm cool. I ain't finna do that. I don't need to get credit for no cooperation because I wasn't cooperating in the first place. I said, I ain't got no reason, and I wouldn't do it if I did. So it is what it is. So he go back out there and tell the man what I said. So he come back with the threat gang. Oh, if you go through with this, I'ma add a new charge and shit. I'm like, man, I don't know what buddy got going on. Cause how you gonna charge me with something if y'all ain't even charge me with this first shit? So I go back to the holding cell. They call my name. I go stand in this chute right before you go in the courtroom. So I go in there. They call me. They open the door, tell me to come in. I come in. I'm in shackles and shit. And I walk out and I stand by the podium, and you know, my PD like, you know, Your Honor, we're here for this release hearing because the state has no information on my client. So prosecutor saying I was trafficking dope from here to Palm Beach County and this and that. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? So the judge was like, sir, are you sure you want to go through with the release? And I'm in the courtroom looking crazy because I'm like, why would you ask me that? So he's like, yeah, you sure you don't want to go back there and talk it over with your counsel and see what, if you really want to go through with this because you know you're facing a lot of time. So I'm standing in the courtroom. I said, well, do I get to go home today? He said, by law, we have to let you go. I said, well, I'm going to the house. And so he said, state, do y'all have any information? Prosecutor said, no, sir, not at this time. So he hit the gavel. He said, well, by law, we have to let him go. And sir, you're free to go. And he slammed the gavel. I shook my public defender hand. I walked in the back, went through the chute, went to the holding cell, told them boys they can let a nigga go. So I take the ride back to the county. I get to the county. You know, them boys waiting to hear the news and shit. So when I get back in I go up the elevator. I'm just smiling. I'm just happy, man. I'm finna bounce. I'm gone. I ain't got to sit in this shit no more. So the crazy thing is, as I'm walking down that long hallway to get to my dorm, everybody, I'm just like, I go where they tell me to sit on the bench and everything. Everybody has some terrible court. It just was amazing that when I walked through that door and them boys were like, Rico, what happened? I'm like, man, I'm going home. Everybody cheering, yelling. They excited. They like, man, no, boy, that's what's up, bro, man. You a good dude, man. I don't know how you get caught up in this shit, but I'm like, man, it's cool. I'm like, yeah, I said, prayer changes things. Because y'all got to remember when I first started, I told my mother after we prayed that I'm walking out of here. And when I tell you I stayed on my faith and I stood on my faith, and my mama said, baby, no matter what them people tell you in there, don't lose your faith. And boy, I stood on my faith, tall and strong, and to the point where it was just like a blessing. You feel me? Like, it really was. Like, but I sat in there for a little while, watching the clock. I'm waiting on to hear them say, Rico, pack it up. So they called my name. But I'm not out the water yet. Because you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about the motherfucking feds coming to get a nigga now. Because I'm like, boy, this is too good to be true. Nah, that's when I had my faith was a little wavering. Because I'm like, I know that's how I usually be for a case like this and a charge like this. But these people come and snatch a nigga ass up, make your shit federal. So I'm like, oh, man. So the whole time I'm just thinking about, man, them people coming, man. Say how God works. Why wouldn't change? I got dressed. I'm sitting in the holding cell with somebody. They, I'm thinking, buddy, finna go to the house. They went around that corner to grab his shit. Boy, U.S. Marshals waiting on that boy. They snatched that nigga ass up. I'm like, oh, man. So, that wasn't nobody the enemy trying to discourage my faith, man. So I'm sitting there just waiting. I'm talking to the other people who was getting released. So they called me up, tell me to sign this paper. Then they called me to get my possessions and shit. So I changed out into my clothes. Now I'm sitting there waiting to sign the paper so I can walk out the door. And I'm steady looking around that corner to see if anybody waiting on me. So when they called my name, I signed the paper. And I was like, ready. And next thing I know, they let me through that door. I got out that door. I got down that breezeway, past that Bellborn place, been the corner by the old apartment where I lived at, townhouse and shit. Man, please. Went to that Family Dollar, made that phone call. So like I say, man, stand on your faith, believe in God, and trust in God. Because you know what? prayer do change things. I'm here to do this podcast because I have faith and I pray and I believe in God. You should do the same.
And I think I've been counting my hardest days. Lord, won't you save me? Ooh, you know what I've been praying for. And I never thought I'd see this day. Yeah, I gotta make it change. And I think I've been counting my hardest days.
Writing plans to make a new report. Grind hard to turn my basement to a jewelry store. If you don't do it for your kids, then who you do it for? I'm trying to read and learn some shit I never knew before. Focus on investments, build me up some new resorts. We can manifest it. You rather hit the Louis store, wasting all your blessings. Caring about the ones who doubt you, just to impress some hoes who never gave a fuck about you. Just what I discovered. Never believed the family, that word is really your cover. Just a title that have the advantage to keep you under. I got niggas I consider brothers more than my brothers. Watching you show your colors. We living in a world where prison walls is deprivation. Living in a world where snitching calls for celebration. Living in a world where niggas crawl in segregation. Rainy nights in desperation, pray we fight the legislation. Protest until we flatline paralyzed. They throwing stones at my Black Lives Matter signs. Made a change, but we still not satisfied. I can't smile half the time, I'm still waiting, sitting, plotting on the couch. Cause I know that I ain't safe when all these cops is on the prowl. Trying to think of other ways, but we ain't got no other route. I'm starting to understand that shit that Pac was talking about. Word.
And I think I've been counting my hardest days. Lord, won't you save me? Ooh, you know what I've been praying for. And I never thought I'd see this day. Yeah, I gotta make it change. And I think I've been counting my hardest days. Lord, won't you save me? Ooh, you know what I've been praying for. And I never thought I'd see this day. Yeah. I gotta make it change. And I think I've been counting my...
Look, time is money and the clock ticking. I teach my son love and respect, that's a God-given. My sperm donor never been shit, just a flop. Listen, if it wasn't for my step-pops, I'd probably turn out different. Probably be in a cell doing a live sentence. Probably had 20 baby mamas and 9 bitches. Probably grow up misguided, twisted inside the system. Dropped out and failed cause nobody listened to my admission. Sick of getting in fights with niggas less educated. Sick of getting advice from niggas who never made it. Sick of being polite to people with lesser patience. Oftentimes I wonder where I would be if I never made it. The hating always comes from niggas that wish they had all your blessings of the clout. Them bad vibes forever, but I'm destined on this route. I'm starting to understand that shit that X was talking about.
And I think I've been counting my...
Worst thing comes to worst, I fucking die a tragic death or some shit, and I'm not able to see out my dreams. I at least want to know that the kids perceived my message and were able to make something of themselves and able to take my message and use it and turn it into something positive and to at least have a good life.
If it ain't black on, I'm probably gonna use it to chop crack on. Hard white for all them hard nights I had my back on. Roach infested carpet, tiptoeing my mother's room. See a dresser and felt no pressure when taking a 20 off it. Compton like a closed coffin, we walking to school coughing. Often high off the gun smoke, Boston had at the front door. Cooking class, I'm J-Hove, rock it up on they stove. Me and my teacher going back and forth like No Name and J. Cole. You said I would never be what? I wouldn't amount to what? Now you in this Trader Joe's, same line saying what's up. Talking about how you like my songs, not knowing it was me. Security had me in that headlock and I told you I couldn't breathe. Now it's Black Lives Matter and white letters on your shirt. Now, how many black lives did you help or did you hurt? Did you handicap, block, push to excel, or did you hinder? Since hindsight's 2020, I guess you don't remember. Now you with your mixed child, having all these mixed feelings. But do your black husband know you tried to burn down our village? But never mind, front of line, that's for y'all to figure out. Just know that boy who wasn't shit bailed all his niggas out. And this my black queen, I kiss her on her black lips. And she rock off-white, cause she support black shit. And I'm blacker than a Stiller helmet or a Spike Lee flick. Black like the pick stuck in the afro or Kaepernick.